Hello, everyone. This is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne, and I bring you a video tonight titled "How to Never Be Defeated by Heartbreak as a Man." It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available on my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me up the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. But let's get right to it. How to never be defeated by heartbreak as a man. And this video is very important. It may be the most important video I've ever made. That's for you to decide and gauge. But there's only one way to never be defeated by heartbreak as a man. And that is to become the sexy attractive man. The cornerstone of the sexy attractive man is that he has a very accurate and balanced perception of himself. Meaning that he's not going to allow anything to linger in his space that is not congruent with the man that he has become. The sexy attractive man has made a declaration as to the type of man that he's going to be. He's had experiences. He decided which side of life that he wants to exist on. He's had his frustration. He's opted for fulfillment. And he's recognized, studied, engaged the work that he had to do on himself so that he can consistently get experiences that align with the best experiences that he wants to have. He did the work. That is the sexy attractive man. And I term it the sexy attractive man because everything in life comes to him that is in direct accordance with the man that he's become. So women offer themselves to this man, but life offers him consistent opportunities and offerings that are congruent with the man that he's become. That is the sexy attractive man. And if you're not that man, your experiences in life and your experiences with women will be imbalanced. And an imbalance is a dangerous place to be as a man. Well, let's revisit the title. How to never be devastated by heartbreak as a man. How to never be defeated by heartbreak as a man. Because this is the thing with love, okay? Love is an entity that governs and that created the universe. Love is the strongest force that exists in the universe. God is love. God was emanated from pure love. Love is a construct that can develop in and of itself aside from any forecasting that you had, any hope that you had. Love can develop on its own, especially when it comes to a woman. And that's why it's important to be the sexy, attractive man who's balanced, because you know where to insert yourself in the pockets that love has developed. And see, this is the thing about love, okay? And this is where balance is paramount. You can meet a woman and she can be an exact representation of what you want physically. And then subsequently, she can give you an exact experience that's a departure from the other women that you have encountered. So you have this exact representation of what you want, your first choice. She looks the way you want her to look. She moves the way you want her to move. And she's a departure from your normal experiences. That's a blessing to find a woman that elicits love from you. But what happens in life is that love is such a powerful force that it can develop towards a woman before you understand who she is. So you'll have times in life where you'll meet a woman and your heart will begin to connect with her. She'll begin to infiltrate a chamber of your heart. And then after that, you'll have experiences with her that show you that you're not congruent with her. The love developed before you knew who she was. And love is such a powerful force that it happens that way sometimes. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can be a man and say, I don't love these women. I'm never going to love a woman. But once you meet that woman who's that exact representation of what you want, and you're spending time with her, And in the beginning, she's giving you the exact experience that's aligned with how you see yourself. She's a departure. Love will develop. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's an entity that governs the universe. It's going to develop on its own. You have nothing to do with it. You can't block it. But you can keep it from infiltrating and penetrating a chamber of your heart that is supposed to be reserved for the woman who sees you exactly the way that you are and stays there. So there's going to be times where you meet a woman and you begin to develop love for her and you find out that she's not the woman you're supposed to be with. She switches on you. She begins to be disrespectful. You begin to question whether her love is balanced with the love that you have for her. And then there's something in the back of your mind concerning her. And the only way to pull yourself out of this level of love is to love yourself above any woman that you're ever going to meet. The only way to pull yourself out of this is to love yourself more than you will ever love any woman that you're ever going to meet. And so there's going to be times when you have to pull yourself out. There's going to be times when you begin to develop love for a woman, but you see that her heart is not connected to you the way that you thought it was. And it's not balanced in terms of how your heart is connecting to her. She's not giving to you what you're giving to her. That's called balance. And if you love yourself as a sexy, attractive man who is governed and congruent with balance, you will pull yourself out. You'll pull yourself out. And you're not absolved of any pain that you're going to have to face, but you are on the road to returning back to yourself because love is governing your every movement, because love is governing you, the love that you have for yourself. You must love yourself above everything else, or else you create a space for something to infiltrate your space that's going to take you out of balance. There are many men who don't know whether they're coming or going, who have been defeated because they couldn't recognize and acknowledge and accept that the love that they elicited to the woman was not coming back to them the same way. And that's dangerous because you determine the deeper chambers of your heart that are infiltrated by a woman. You determine that. And when I say you, the love that you have for yourself. So there are many men who are with women that they should have dropped off, and they went deeper in love with the woman. The woman didn't love him the same way, but he loved her. And she penetrated chambers of his heart that she was not supposed to penetrate. And he viewed himself as being stuck. How many times have you seen men eating all kinds of plates of shit, being tossed to and fro? And their only explanation when men challenge them out of love is that, oh, I love her. He doesn't have a governed love. A governed love is when you have a complete and concrete awareness and acceptance of yourself and what you deserve. You know what you're giving because you have an identity. You've been able to consolidate the different offerings that you have to offer to this world and understand exactly what should come back. That's a governed man. But if you're not a governed man, things will enter your space that are not supposed to be there, and they'll stay. And once they stay and they're not supposed to be there, and the concept or the construct of love is evident, then that love is going to grow. And that's how you see men end up on the wrong side of divorce, because they allowed chambers of their heart to be infiltrated that they should have cut off. It's much easier to deal with disappointment than devastation. Disappointment means that the construct of love showed up when I met this woman and I didn't expect it. She showed me that we're not congruent and compatible, and she's not supposed to be a part of my future. And you pull yourself out. You're going to face some disappointment because you're going to have to mourn the expectations and the desires that you had with this woman because you identified her as your first choice and she did not identify you as her first choice. That's why when conflict arose, she pulled away and you moved further towards her. That's a man that doesn't have balance in terms of how to govern himself which means he doesn't know how to govern his love. And when you're in this position, you have to pull yourself out. You're going to be disappointed because you have to mourn the expectation and the desire of what could be, but what could be never materialized. So that's a chamber of your heart that was infiltrated, but it wasn't the deeper chamber of your heart that you had to pull yourself out of because the love wasn't balanced. See, being a sexy, attractive, balanced man means you have an invitation for love that is based and that is fixated and congruent with balance. That's why you have to love yourself. Love is a very powerful force. And those men that go past the women that they should have dismissed because they love themselves and they go deeper into that love, if that woman doesn't love you the way that you love her, you will be devastated. Disappointment pales in comparison to devastation. Devastation is when chambers of your heart were infiltrated that were never supposed to be infiltrated because you had the signs and the markers that this woman was not in it the same way that you were in it. The construct of love was not balanced. You loved her more than she loved you. And the only way to recognize that is to love yourself, and that creates precepts. Every man that loves himself, every man that gets to the point of optimizing himself, taking inventory of himself, you begin to develop rules of engagement and precepts. As I said in my dating group tonight, my Matthew C. Horne Dating Community on the school platform, I told the men that once you go into deep levels of self-love, you're going to develop your own figurative 10 commandments. Your 10 commandments are the rules of engagement that a woman has to exhibit for you to keep your presence there, in order for you to have a safe place for your love to grow. If you're a balanced man, the deeper chambers of your heart are infiltrated because love and trust was present. Love is the entity that develops outside of you, so the love was present. You have no control over that. But the trust is what you have control over, and the trust develops because you understand that you can only keep yourself engaged in a situation that the woman is consistently showing you in moving in accordance and giving you peace, that she loves you the way that you love her. That's when deeper parts of your hearts and chambers of your hearts are infiltrated, because there's trust. And trust cannot truly develop until you love yourself more than you'll ever love a woman. Love is very powerful. And that's why you have to be careful in terms of where you dispense your love. We're going to go to the Bible for this one, okay? Because God knows, since He is love, that you have to be careful where you dispense your love. He knows this. That's why He told us in Proverbs 4, verses 23. He says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." For out of it are the issues of life. God knows the power of the construct that God emanated from. He is love. So He warns us to be diligent, to have a level of love for yourself that you can gauge where you should plant your love. It told us in the Word right there. You have to be careful. He's saying, guard your heart with all diligence. Keep guard, it's all the same. Because out of it flow the issues of life. Meaning that you can get so deep into something that it's going to be very difficult to pull yourself out of. And the only way that you can't pull yourself out of a situation where you love a woman and she doesn't love you the same way, and you have to accept that, is to love yourself more than you'll ever love that woman. I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to be painful. But it's possible. It's possible. But when you love yourself, you're not going to go too deep into love that it's going to be difficult to pull yourself out. Even if you met a woman and the love develops in and of itself on its own, and you see the imbalance, that's when you have a short interaction with that woman. You face the pain, you acknowledge that it's imbalanced because you love yourself enough to recognize imbalance. That's where men suffer. They don't love themselves enough to recognize imbalance. And there are different chambers of your heart. And when I was doing my meditation for this message, because believe me, this is stuff I've never considered before. As a prophet of God, God gives me messages to deliver. And last night, I was watching A Different World, and one of my favorite shows, it's old as hell, one of my favorite shows, but I saw something. I saw an episode I never saw before. I was supposed to see it. And the revelation that came to me was about the chambers of the heart, which I'd never considered before. This is a divine word for you. And that's when I began to get the revelation of the deeper levels of the chambers of the heart. And then what was brought to my recollection was the last time that I was in a long-term relationship with a woman that I was in love with. That was 11 years ago. And I finally pulled myself out of the situation because things happened in the relationship that never made the relationship the same, but I didn't have a concept of love. I didn't have a concept of self-love. But self-love was something that I was given and ingrained in me, and I could never reinsert myself into the relationship after things were done to me that I would never do to her, done to me that I did not deserve. And I could never reinsert myself in that relationship. And I would ask God, say, why can't I just reconnect with her after we tried again? And in the very end, God showed me, he says, you love yourself too much. So loving yourself is your escape from going deeper into constructs and situations that you can't pull yourself out of. And so, like I said, I got the word, I got the revelation for you. And I learned about the chambers of the heart just last night, man. Just last night. And I remember at the end of that relationship, I was given a new beginning. My business became prosperous. I moved. I got a new beginning. And God's design was that I was supposed to move forward with my life. He wanted me to move forward. And I was still struggling with the remnants of that woman's presence in my spirit, even though I made a conscious decision to never contact her again. And right on cue, I got a word through Joel Osteen on my television. I had not watched Joel Osteen in years, but coincidentally enough, he was on my television screen. Les Brown says, coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. So through an anonymous presentation into my life, I got the word from Joel Osteen. And the word from Joel Osteen, he was making he did a sermon about God giving you beauty for your ashes. And there were two examples of individuals who were in devastating relationships that ended abruptly, and how these two people handled the situation. So the first situation that Joel Osteen talked about was a man in his congregation who was in love with his wife, did not see the betrayal coming. And his wife left him one day with no explanation, just a note. And this gentleman went to Joel Osteen devastated. He was completely devastated. Didn't know whether he was coming or going. But then that same man, some time had passed, his heart had healed. He returned to himself. And he came up to Joel Osteen and he said, I met someone, and the love that I have for her is deeper than anything I've ever experienced. It is a love that I never knew existed. And I got the revelation as I was putting this together that he was able to allow a woman into his heart to infiltrate a deeper chamber of his heart than the woman that he thought he was going to spend the rest of his life with. Because in order to escape the devastation, he had to go deeper into self-love. And when he went deeper into self-love, that opened up deeper chambers of his heart. See, the love that he had for his wife who left him, that was a capability of love. That love was not reserved for her. It was a byproduct of the capacity of love that he had to give. And once he connected deeper with himself in terms of self-love, deeper chambers of his heart opened up, and he came to Osteen and said, this is a love, this new love is a love that's deeper than any love I ever experienced, because he went deeper into self-love. You can't escape devastation until you go deeper into levels of self-love, until you accept the imbalance that existed and love yourself enough to say, I permanently release this woman from my spirit, in my space, in my essence, because she does not love me the way that I love myself. Love is the most powerful construct that created and governs the universe. That's why he says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. If you do not love yourself, your world will be imbalanced, and you are susceptible to any force that can come in and fool you and have you in an imbalanced state that you do not know yourself. But the way to escape that imbalanced state is to love yourself above anything that will ever enter your space. How can you guide a woman? How can you lead a woman if you love her more than you love yourself? So if you guard your heart, the chambers of your heart, the deeper chambers of your heart, are only going to open to women who love you the way that you love them, because you love yourself enough to not engage longer and deeper with a woman who doesn't love you the way that you love yourself. That's why he says, guard your heart with all diligence. Out of it flows the issues of life. So if you're in a situation where you know it is imbalanced and it's tearing you apart, you have to check your level of love that you have for yourself. The most up-to-date and current example of this is something you maybe heard me reference in some of my previous videos. Corey Hardrick, the $45 million Tyler Perry Divorcing Black movie that just came out last year. Corey Hardrick was married to Tia Mowry. Corey Hardrick never cheated on this woman. He loved this woman, had 2 beautiful children with this woman, and identified her as the woman that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Corey was satisfied, in love with Tia Mowry. Tia Mowry convinced herself, because she was beguiled by the serpent. That's all she does is complain about the absence of love in her life now. She's weighing the men in her life against Corey Hardrick, but she hasn't experienced the love that pure since. So Tia Mowry was beguiled by the serpent, the sisterhood, the serpent, and says, you haven't lived enough life yet. Corey was your first everything. He took your virginity. You never got a chance to find yourself. So she graduated from the marriage. That's what she told the public. Because Tia Mowry is a child star from Sister Sister. Corey Hardrick is a decorated actor as well. And so Tia Mowry graduated from the marriage. Corey Hardrick was fixated in love in the marriage. And Corey Hardrick, after it was over, he talked about the dark nights that he had to face. Because as you're recovering parts of yourself and returning to yourself and recovering your heart, the parts of your heart that existed before you met this woman that infiltrated deep chambers of your heart, Corey Hardrick talked about on The Breakfast Club in different interviews about how he cried himself to sleep for multiple years because he had to mourn the loss of the woman that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, that he was convinced he was going to spend the rest of his life with, and the children that they created in the new dynamic of his relationship with his children. He says, if you know Corey Hardrick, you know I love my children. So the dynamic of the relationship with his wife was changed, and the dynamic of his relationship with his children was changed. He had to mourn all of that. He said he cried himself to sleep for multiple years, and nobody saw it. He saw it because he experienced it. But then right on cue, he healed. And once he healed, once those chambers of his heart were filled, he says, I'm stronger than I ever thought I was. He didn't know if he was going to make it. And let's be real as men. When the man said something like that, he had suicidal thoughts. If you open up your heart, the deeper chambers of your heart, to the wrong woman, that's why he says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. Meaning that your life can be taken if you open your chambers of your heart to women that are not supposed to be there, because you don't love yourself enough. But through God's grace, he healed. He says, I'm stronger than I ever thought I was, meaning that he tapped into the ultimate force of love that saw his strength and his pain and filled the chambers of his heart that he never knew that he could recover from. He says, I'm stronger than I ever thought I was. He didn't think he was going to make it through. And so many men open themselves up to the wrong woman, and you have that thought, I don't think I can make it through. You may have opened the chambers of your heart to the wrong woman, the deeper chambers, but there's a force that governs the universe of love that if you go to that source, your heart will be mended. You'll return to yourself. And right on cue, Corey Hardrick, after his space was balanced again, because if you have love for someone and they don't have love for you the same way, that is an imbalanced space, meaning that blessings are blocked. Your highest experiences that you can have are blocked. Your most fulfilling, your most robust experiences are blocked. When a woman is in your life who does not love you the way that you love yourself, because you're giving her love that is not reserved for her. Self-love is the ultimate balance, and it invites everything that is a representation of the best that life has for you into your space. And so once his space was restored and he healed and he cried, you have to let those tears go. That's healing. And once he let those tears go, he was letting go the hope. It wasn't hope, as I said, with disappointment. It was devastation, because he was in it. Hope is, I wish I experienced it. Devastation is, I experienced it and I lost it. He experienced everything that he wanted with Tia Mowry, and he lost it. So his heart had to be mended. But right on cue, right after the divorce, right after the force in his life that was holding him back from his ultimate blessings, Tyler Perry walks into his life and offers him $45 million. This man got on the Breakfast Club and said, I ain't never seen money like that in my life. I've never seen blessing and provision like that in my life. And he was restored and he was elevated in accordance with where he was supposed to be, because there were no contrary forces in his life that didn't see him the way that he was designed to see himself, and didn't see him in accordance with everything that was supposed to come to him. So the impediment was removed from his life. And then the ultimate blessings entered his space. And it's no coincidence. Once again, coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. When his atmosphere was right, when his heart was restored, then every blessing that was for him came, and it came immediately. I have the same story. I won't go deep into that. But I want to end this by talking about the dangers of marrying the woman, coming into a spiritual and natural construct and contract with a woman who doesn't love you the way that you love her. And this is another part of the revelation that I received. When a man marries a woman, not every time, but oftentimes, that woman is his first choice and his best option. That man has decided that no other woman can give him an experience like the experience that he's going to have with this woman. She infiltrated a chamber of his heart. But we always get choice before we make drastic life decisions. Everyone shows us who they are. And if we go past the warning that we received, we're susceptible to the imbalance that comes from that. And so some men marry women who are a representation of an imbalanced experience. This man went past all of the BS. He went past the imbalance. She infiltrated deeper chambers of his heart, and he married her. And right on cue, with matrimony, he understands what he saw before he offered her matrimony. She's not in it the same way that he's in it. That's stressful. That's taking years off of your life. And as God was showing me, in walks the children. And see, once the children come into the fray, the children are a representation of pure love because they didn't do anything to you. And you instinctively want to see them at their best. The pure love that you have for your children is what inspires you to give them your best. Guidance, wisdom, resource, everything to make sure that they get to a place in life that's adequate, that's full. But see, this is the danger of that situation, is because you can be in a house where your love is not fluid. See, your love is pure for your children, and then your love has weight, it has burden, and it has yoke with the woman that you lay beside every night because you're so worried about her betraying you and breaking your heart. And the heartbreak is inevitable if you marry a woman that is a representation of an imbalanced level of love. Insert Corey Hardrick. And so I was given that revelation that a man can be married to a woman and his love is pure and unfiltered for his children, but then it can be a yoke and a burden for his wife. Those are the types of unions that take years off of a man's life. Imagine waking up and you love a woman with all of your heart. She's infiltrated the deepest chambers of your heart. And that woman does not love you the same way. She checked all of your boxes and you have an uninterrupted love for her. And then you check some of her boxes and her love is interrupted for you because she thinks that there's something better out there. That imbalance always comes to collect. I've seen women in their 40s, mid-30s, 50s, 60s, and that imbalance of love came to collect, and they left their husbands. It's no coincidence that 80% of divorces are initiated by women. That imbalance of love that never existed to the degree that the man loved her is coming to collect. She's going to betray you. Even if she stays with you, your heart is going to be ravaged until a separation takes place and you can be restored. But that's a level of pain that is congruent with devastation. That's why you want to get out with disappointment. Because that love can grow independent of you. But if you love yourself enough, you're not going to allow that love to go deeper into the chamber of your heart because you're going to depart. And once you depart, you heal. You reclaim parts of yourself that were originated before you met the woman. That's called restoration. But when you're devastated, you run the risk of thinking that the pain and the defeat is so deep that you cannot be restored. And those are the men that take out their families. Those are the men that take themselves out. That's why he said, that's why God says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. But the last part of the revelation I was given was, when you're in a household and the woman was sent to you by your creator, the Bible says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Meaning that you're never going to have anything in the back of your mind concerning this woman, because you love yourself enough that you can recognize balance. The deeper chambers of your heart are supposed to be infiltrated by a woman who shows up in your space continuously in a balanced fashion. You don't have to question her love for you. And you instinctively don't question your love for her, because it's growing so rapidly and so deeply. And there are chambers of your heart that are being infiltrated that you didn't even know existed. That's the woman that's for you. And then you have children with her. And your love is not divided within the household. Your love is completely fluid. The children were born out of love and trust. The children were born because you loved that woman, and your love grew to the point that you couldn't see yourself having a life without her. And the trust was there, and it grew because she viewed you and loved you in accordance with how you love yourself and how you love her. Those are the men that are in marriage and they look young. Their life is full because there's nothing in the back of their mind concerning the woman. He wasn't given a yoke. He wasn't given a burden, because God doesn't give us that. He gives us peace. And the only way to access that level of peace is to love yourself enough to never allow the wrong woman to infiltrate the deeper chambers of your heart, man. I gave this up as best as I could, man. All praise to the all-knowing, omniscient creator for giving me this word. It's brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me with the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these elevated messages. And I hear you all in the comments. You want me to make particular videos specific to what you want me to talk about in a video. I'll do it. You just make your donation of $150 or more to my PayPal and my Cash App information that's in my video description. PayPal and Cash App both have a no feature. So after you make your donation of $150 or more, you can leave the desired topic that you want to make your video on in the note feature on PayPal and Cash App, and your video will be on my channel, Matthew C. Horne Dating, on YouTube in 24 hours or less. Streamlined, easy, simple. And if your subject matter is more in-depth than just leaving a note on PayPal and Cash App, then you make a donation of $150 or more to my PayPal and my Cash App, and then you email me at matthewchorne.com with your more in-depth description of what you want me to make your custom video on. Same format, your video will be on my channel in 24 hours or less. If my message has been inspiring, if it's been eye-opening, if it's been revelatory, and you can connect with that this was a divine word from heaven that I was given for you, I want you to make a donation to my PayPal and my Cash App that's in my video description. I'll never tell you what to donate. Just donate according to however you've been impacted. Your donations continue to help me to grow, move forward, and elevate, and they mean more to me than you would ever understand. So don't forget to make your donations. If you're in need of coaching and my voice resonates with you and you have issues that you've been unable to overcome in the dating space, you may have made some strides, you may have made some progress, but you haven't quite been able to make the breakthrough. I'm your man. I'm your dating coach. Email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave coaching in the subject matter of the email. And then leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space in the body of the email. I'll do an assessment, and I'll email you back promptly. Everyone who's gotten coaching from me, you all know the format. Everything I say I'm going to deliver, that's what I deliver. Okay, so if you're in need of coaching, reach out to me, Matt at matthewchorne.com. I'm your man. I have your answers, and you're going to get the breakthroughs that you're looking for. I'm also looking for 5 individuals that I can coach for a year. I can only take on 5 people because I only have the bandwidth for 5 people because I'm going to be giving so much of myself. In this particular year-long coaching program and mentorship program, you're going to get a minimum of 3 coaching calls per week. And you're going to have 24-hour access to me as well. You can be going through anything, being in any situation with any woman in life, whatever the case may be. You can reach out to me 24 hours a day. I'll be accessible. In conjunction with that, there's going to be some life coaching integrated into this. And we're going to meet up in person after I've coached you and I have assessed that you're growing. Then we're going to meet up in person. We can go out no matter what city you're in. I'll fly out if I need to, anywhere in the world. And we'll go out together and we'll meet women. We'll go out, hang out, fellowship, and I can assess you in person and even help you to grow and elevate even further and faster by seeing you in person. But yeah, this is a very specific journey that I'm looking for 5 people to take this journey with me. The slots are filling up, but the full depth of the 5 slots have not filled up. And it's only right for who is right for. So I'm not questioning the time. The right people, these words right here are going to resonate with you. If you're interested in taking a year-long coaching journey with me, then email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave mentorship in the subject matter of the email. Tell me about yourself, where you are in the dating space, where you want to be. I'll do an assessment, leave your name, your phone number, where you are, where you want to be in the body of the email, and I'll call you. And we'll have a conversation and we'll determine if we're a good fit to work with one another over the duration of a year. You give me 1 year of your life, I'm going to surpass every expectation that even you had of yourself. Your life is never going to be the same. Lastly, my dating coaching community on the school platform. I want everyone to sign up for my dating coaching community. The link to sign up will be in the video description as well as pinned to the top of the comments. In this community, you'll get at least 2 exclusive videos every week that are specific for the community that are not on YouTube. I allow members of the community to message me or post in the community and give me topics that they want me to speak on. And I make your custom videos and I put them in the community and everyone benefits. We have a Zoom call every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do a monologue, and then we discuss the monologue. And then we leave that, and you can ask me whatever you want to ask me for the duration of an hour. It's an amazing space. The men are getting breakthroughs. They're growing exponentially. And I want you all to be a part of the group of men who are growing. Every video that I make is archived. You can join the community and catch up. Every Zoom call that I had is archived. You can watch it and you can catch up so when you get on that Zoom call with me, with the other members of the community, you're caught up. It's really that simple. So it's an amazing space. I want everyone to sign up. And I even put a recent program in there, something exclusive, Becoming the Sexually Attractive Man. Everyone in the community has been able to access it. And I'm even offering more offerings that I can give of myself to members in the community to help them grow faster and exponentially. If you're interested in joining my dating coaching community on a school platform, the link to sign up will be in the video description as well as pinned to the top of the comments. I've said all I can possibly say. Learn to love yourself enough that you guard your heart, guard the chambers of your heart that are going to disrupt your life if you allow the wrong women and people to access those chambers. Love is a construct that will develop in and of itself, but your level of self-love determines the chambers of your heart that are infiltrated. I've said all I can possibly say, and I'll see you all soon.